Hey bitches, it's Lexi Lore. Today I'm gonna talk about my shitty Tinder dating experiences. Yay! I'm gonna start this video by eating some chocolate peanut butter. It's vegan. It's like kinda good. I'm not living for it. I really like the white chocolate kind. I've heard all kinds of great success stories with online dating and couples who got married. I know you've all seen the commercials. Some of those are totally valid, but I think a lot of them are, like my stories, pretty fucking weird. Go ahead and tell me in the comments, have you ever been on dating apps? What's your experience like? I'd love to hear your stories, and also, of course, please give me ideas for videos because I would make so many more videos if I just knew what the fuck to talk about or do. So we're going to call him Jake. Jake was polyamorous and vegan, much like myself. He was also a BDSM educator, so he worked in a BDSM dungeon. So of course I thought, oh, I'm kind of into the whole adult work thing. Maybe he'll understand me a little bit better than most people. He was so smart and kinky, and I just had all these fantasies about what it would be like being with him, and I knew that he had a lot of bad experiences dating because, of course, people get insecure whenever you're doing stuff like that. You know, he's working with girls in BDSM dungeons late at night, teaching them how to be safe and kinky. So I thought, oh baby, I can help you. I know you've had hard experiences with your job and dating, but, you know, I can deal with it. I knew I could because of my job. And because I am genuinely very polyamorous. He was super intelligent and charming. We just talked forever. He had so many things to talk about, and I was really interested in some of his fantasies. So our first date, it was pretty normal. We went to a vegan restaurant, and he brought me, I think a cactus, which was really cute because most people on the first date don't bring you a gift, but I was like, aw, that's so cute, like he's the one, this is amazing. It was so great, we talked for hours. I remember I had to go home and cam, so he literally spent hours with me until right when I had to go home to make it just in time to get on cam when I was scheduled to, and he was so supportive, and he texted me, have a good time on cam, you know, I hope you do really well, make lots of money, I'm proud of you. He was just super supportive, and that wasn't something that I had in my abusive relationship, so I was like, wow, he really cares, he's so sweet, this is so different. I was basically in awe with, you know, exactly what I should expect as a bare minimum for a relationship. But that was all fine and good. It was a really good first date. Our second date was, it was interesting. Our second date was the BDSM dungeon that he worked at. I wanted to prove to him that I was super comfortable with his job and I was interested in it and I wanted to be more involved and I was excited and happy for him. As it turned out, my friend who I was living with at the time, she was also going to the same BDSM dungeon the same time that him and I were having a date, so I said, hey, maybe we can just carpool. I know that kind of ruins the date, but I don't know, I just thought it would be fine. I really wanted her to meet the new guy that I was talking to. I was very excited, you know, whenever I start dating someone and I feel like I really do like them, I want to introduce them to my friends to get approval. I want everyone to like each other, and yeah, it's kind of like she's my mom and I want her to approve of the guys that I'm dating. So she came along, and when we got to the BDSM dungeon, he greeted us and he gave me a hug, and I think he like introduced himself to her, but he didn't like go too far. I thought that was a good sign. You know, he was treating me more like a girlfriend and treating her like my friend who was important to me. As a little backstory, I was actually still living with my ex-boyfriend at the time, and he knew that I was seeing other people and going on dates and trying to meet new people. And the people that I was dating or seeing or going on dates with, they also knew that I was still living with my ex, so there was nothing shady going on. Anyway, when my friend and I and this guy were at the BDSM dungeon, I don't know, I expected his friends to be more excited to see me, or more like, oh, like you're this important girl that he is talking to. And they really didn't pay any mind to me at all. It was almost as if he does this all the time and I'm not special. This is just totally fucking normal for him. So that kind of put me into perspective, like, oh, I thought, you know, maybe he cared about me so much that he wanted me to see what his work was like and who he worked with and who his friends were. Looking back on it, I don't think it was very special at all. I wasn't special. He does this shit all the time. Okay, so some of the fantasies and things that he was into at the time were electricity and fire play, which both sounded fucking terrifying, but I wanted to impress him and seem down for whatever, so I went to this fucking BDSM dungeon for him to try these things out on me and show me what it's all about. And he's a BDSM educator, so I knew he was basically teaching people how to do it in a safe way, so I felt comfortable in his hands, but I was still fucking terrified because, hello, it's electricity and fire. He kind of explained his kits to us. He had a kit with electricity stuff and electricity play, and then he had another kit with fire play, and he actually lit himself on fire. Like, I'm not even joking. And he zapped himself with electricity, and I was looking at these kits, and my friend and I were kind of looking at each other like, do you want to do it? Like, are you okay with this? Like, I don't know if we should be doing this right now. What the fuck? So I decided I was more comfortable with the electricity. So he was like, okay, can I zap you? And I was like, what? He said, can I zap you? It's really safe. I know what I'm doing, blah, blah, blah. He like explained everything. I know I'm not explaining it because I don't know that much about electricity. I actually really like electricity play now. I find it very relaxing on a lower level. But that doesn't mean I'm super educated on it. You know, the people who are performing the electricity acts or whatever on me know what they're doing. If I believe that they know what they're doing, then I'll let them do it to me and I enjoy it, but that doesn't mean I'm like smart. He zapped me with his little zapper and it made a really fucking loud noise. I think I squealed. It was kind of scary, but it didn't really hurt. It was just the sound was so loud, so it kind of scares you. Like spanking, a lot of the fear factor is just the noise. It's like surprising, it's sudden. So electricity plays a little bit like that sometimes. So he said, okay, do you want to do a session? And my friend and I look at each other and we're like, what? He was like, yeah, like a session. I'll just take an hour with you guys in this room and I'll try different things on you, different equipment, whatever, different levels of electricity. He takes us through this dungeon. It's like super creepy and dark. And you know, if you've ever been to a BDSM dungeon, you kind of know what it's like, but it's a little intimidating your first time going there. I don't think it was my first time ever in a dungeon, but it was my first time doing kinky stuff in a dungeon. And it was the creepiest dungeon too. There were no signs or anything like letting you know you're in the right place, whatever, you know. There were just like a small homeless population right outside. But yeah, it was like the back of this building. You go in this creepy parking lot and our Uber driver was like, are you sure you want to be dropped off here? Like little girls, like this shit is weird. And it was weird. It was very creepy. So the whole vibe was weird. He takes us into this room and other people who are in the dungeon can kind of like look in. So we weren't really alone or like trapped in this room. It wasn't like that weird, but it was kind of weird that people would just like stop by and watch us. When boys talk about electrocuting you on the second date. I just thought he was so cool and like edgy and intelligent. And a lot of times kinky people are very smart and I could tell that he was. And he had all this sexual energy. And I don't do hookups. Like I like to get serious with a person before I have sex with them. You know, like I already have my fucking job and a lot of times, you know, we're not having like real, genuine, passionate sex. When I'm like dating, I want to make sure that it is going to be that way and it's not going to feel like a fucking boring ass hookup. So we never had sex, and that is really unfortunate because I would have loved to, I feel like. I mean, who knows? It probably would have been fucking terrible, knowing my luck, but... So he asked my friend and I to lay down on this table and just relax, because we were totally fucking relaxed. He said, the more nervous you get, the more sweaty you'll get, and the more sweaty you get, the more the electricity will hurt you. That, I don't know. I don't know about you, but that sure didn't make me feel relaxed in the slightest. We were sweating like a motherfucker. I don't know about my friend. I mean, she was definitely a little bit more nervous at first, and I was fucking nervous too. So he starts on the lowest levels of electricity, like running all these little things across our body. I was like, oh, this feels really good. Like it kind of tickles, it's whatever. You know, it's like a little bit staticky, a little bit shocky, like... But it was bearable, and the more he did it, the more it felt good. But then he starts turning up the electricity to a higher voltage. All of a sudden, my friend went from being afraid of the electricity to really liking it and wanting it to be more and more painful. While at the same time, I was enjoying the lower level of electricity so much. It felt relaxing. I didn't want it to be painful. I wanted it to be calming. So remember, I kind of did all of this a little bit out of curiosity, but a big part of it was just to impress him and to show him that I wanted to be a part of his world. So when my friend was more down than I was for all the fucking pain, he called my friend a pain slut, and I get it. We're polyamorous. We're literally in a BDSM dungeon. It's like, it's fine. I get that he did that, but it kind of just, it's fine that he was flirting, but it made me feel like I wasn't into the pain and he wanted me to be, it felt like. He was like happy that she wanted to be in pain, but I didn't. So I admit I was getting like a little bit jealous, and yeah, it was only my second date with him, so I didn't feel comfortable being like, hey, you know, this is making me feel uncomfortable, like I feel like you're more into my friend and I want to do something that I enjoy too. So he's just doing more and more with her. And then he asked us if we want to take our shirts off so, you know, he can play with more of our bodies with the electricity. And he's not being like weird or pervy about it at all. And she's down, I'm down, whatever. Like, I didn't really feel like getting that far with him on the second date. I do like to take things a little bit slower, but I mean, my friend was down, so I wasn't gonna be the bitch who was like, no fun, you know, because then he would like her more than me and like all this stupid shit. So we take our shirts off, and I think we even took our pants off, or I think I was wearing a skirt or something. And so we were just in our underwear. And remember, everyone in the BDSM dungeon and all his friends and coworkers are like able to watch us, and some of them did. Because I mean, what? There's two hot naked chicks getting electrocuted. Of course people are gonna fucking watch. Like, what kind of fucking second date is this? Like, this is already sounding so fucking weird. My friend was just enjoying the pain so much, and I was getting a little butthurt about it, and I just started getting a little more shy, and I feel like neither of them really realized that I was getting uncomfortable or like kind of a sore loser, to be honest. I could have handled the pain, but I wasn't down for doing something that I really didn't want to do just to impress people. Like, I'm not about that. I just wanted to be myself and enjoy myself and have a good time and not be shamed for it. After our little electricity session is up, we go to the kitchen and we're just talking to some of his friends. They're super nerdy and they ask what we do for a living, and my friend's just like, we do porn. So they're all like, wow, like, wow. Like, wow, I'm in the presence of like a porn star. That was fucking creepy. So we like walk away, and the guy's like, hey, do you guys want to do anything else? Do you want to try the fire play? Do you want to do some spanking? My friend's like, yeah, I love getting spanked. Like, please spank me, daddy. Like, she didn't say it like that, but she was just like, oh yeah, I want to get spanked. And I was like, no, I'm not really down. Like, I'll just watch. You guys have fun. I was just being a sore loser, and I've seen my friend get beat the shit out of her before. She loves getting spanked as hard as fucking possible. She loves having welts and bruises and marks and all this shit. And it's like, I can't have marks on my body because of my work. I'm not risking it, and I don't want to be a sore loser. I don't want a competition because I know I'll fucking lose. I should have just used my words and been like, hey, can we all do something else? Because this is my friend and my date, if you don't remember. Yeah, I should have spoken up a little bit more, but I just said, you know, you guys have fun. I'll just watch. It's all cool. They're like, are you sure? Are you sure? Like, they asked me a couple times if I was sure that I'm okay with it, and I'm just like, yeah, of course. Like, this is so fine with me. So at this point, I'm just like, I can't believe what's going on. Like, my date is spanking my friend and I'm watching. So I sit there and I watch, and it's a BDSM dungeon, so we're not even allowed to be on our phones, but I'm like on my phone because I'm fucking pissed. And I know that my date even told me like all the rules of the dungeon, like, welcome to the dungeon, here are the fucking rules, don't use your phone. And I'm like sitting here on my phone because he's spanking my friend. Without me. And then it gets fucking worse. Oh my god, it gets so much fucking worse. He pulls out a vibrator. A vibrator! He pulls out a vibrator. Okay. I see what kind of date this is. So because we're poly, that means that you can treat anyone the same as you treat me, even though, like, you're trying to be a primary partner with me, but you're not treating me any different than literally anyone. My friend, someone you just met. So I'm literally sitting here for, I don't even know, probably half an hour, a full hour, and I'm listening to my date on our second date. Just spanking the fuck out of my best friend and making her come with a vibrator. I had to listen to her come with my date. Usually in polyamorous relationships, you talk about these things and you make sure, hey, is it cool if I make your best friend come? I do not at all blame my friend for any of this. A hoe's gonna be a hoe. I didn't speak up. I didn't say anything. I even told her in the Uber, like, hey, like, I'm not really serious with this guy. I don't care that much. He's not even that cute. I just feel like he's super kinky and it'll be a good time. So I literally had this talk with my friend, like, hey, this dude isn't important. But when you see him doing stuff with your friend and you're not, like, 100% okay with it, he's not checking in with you, like, he's being a bad date, basically, it's like, oh, I do care. This does hurt. So I admit, like, I'm not perfect in this situation. I definitely should have spoken my mind a little bit better. I was expecting a little bit more intention, like, oh, hey, like, this is my almost girlfriend and this is my almost girlfriend's friend, so I'm gonna be respectful of boundaries. Like, it's just this unspoken thing, like, you should just know. You would think it ends here, but it just gets fucking weirder. So this random ass guy comes up to me and asks me if he can suck on my toes. Okay, look, a bitch loves her toes sucked. My first boyfriend had a foot fetish, I get it, but okay, I get it. Even we're in a BDSM dungeon. People are doing, like, kinky things with each other. But in what world do you just walk up to a complete stranger and be like, hey, can I suck on your toes? Like, no, you can't fucking suck on my toes. Well, I mean, you know, my date is making my best friend come right now and spanking the shit out of her and basically making me a cuck. So, you know what, bitch, you can suck on my toes. Go right ahead. Just, like, go ahead. So I have this random ass guy. He's kind of cute. Like, he's pretty cute. I still know him to this day. Like, I see him at events. I go to Foot Night, which is where guys just, like, play with your feet and you get paid, and you sometimes get to hang out on a boat or, like, a cool BDSM dungeon or whatever. So, like, that's, like, a fun, weird, quirky thing that I do. So I do see him there, and I'm glad that this random guy who asked if he could suck on my toes, I'm glad that he introduced me to this world, because, like, it is a fun thing that I like to do when I don't have a scene. I'll just go have, like, random guys massage my feet and pay me on a boat. It's fucking cool as shit. So my friend and my date kind of look over at me because they're like, what the fuck? Like, she has this random guy sucking on her toes. They don't even ask me, like, hey, are you okay? Like, do you want this random guy sucking on your toes? Like, they kind of just look like, okay, whatever. I hear my friend come a couple times, but it's a little bit better because my toes are in another guy's mouth being massaged. It's like, it's totally fine. It's normal. It's a great second date. Like, I'm really feeling this guy, you know? So at the end of a BDSM session, often you have this cool down period together where everyone who just performed in the little thing or whatever, they kind of just, like, cuddle and, like, talk about their feelings if they need to and, like, how they felt. We go to this couch and me, my friend, and my date are all, you know, chilling, hanging out, just relaxing, coming down from, like, all the energy that we just had, all her orgasms. And he's, like, touching both of us. He's just, like, massaging our legs, like, being comforting. And guess what? He gets her phone number. He gets her fucking phone number. But he's like, oh, I do this with all the girls at the dungeon, like, just in case they need to talk about the scene afterwards. And I get it, that's part of his job, and that would have been totally okay if he didn't just make my friend come. Then he waits for my friend and I to get our Uber together, and her and I get in the car, and I'm just like, wow, like, that was crazy. I don't think I want to talk to this guy anymore. And she's like, okay, same. I won't talk to him either, blah, blah, blah. And he did hit her up, I think, the next day or whatever. What a weird fucking second date. Like, it just blows my mind. Like, How would you feel? I don't know. Tell me in the comments down below. Like I said, I was still living with my ex-boyfriend. He slept right here on this side of the bed, and I slept right here on this side of the bed. And I'm just like telling him about it and telling him about my emotions and like how fucking weird it was and like how I got jealous and all this stuff. And he's just like, I don't fucking care. I don't want to hear that shit, blah, blah, blah. Like, of course he didn't, so I understand. But I was like, oh, you don't care about my feelings, blah, blah, blah. This is why we could never be together. And he's like, yeah, we could never be together because I was monogamous and you were polyamorous and the entire relationship was destined to fail. He didn't say that, but I mean, he really should have because it would have made sense. Like, that's completely how I feel now. Why did I think I could date a monogamous person? If you're poly, I just want you to know it's okay to not be cool poly. You don't need to compete with other poly people and be okay with things that you're not okay with. Like, if you're not cool with something, just say it. Just talk about your emotions. It's the only way to have a successful polyamorous relationship. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you know when I update my YouTube channel because I'm going to be uploading so fucking regularly, totally, absolutely not gonna fuck it up. Also in the description, you'll see my social media. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you guys again. Bye.